Jake Jackson here with Tier 3 Tactical, reviewing the Trijicon MRO, which Trijicon graciously decided to send out for evaluation and testing. You can see here it's mounted on a Daniel Defense DDM-4-7 lightweight, which is a very nice rifle. We'll be doing an upcoming review focusing exclusively on this bad boy. But the MRO is what we're talking about today. So this is the miniature red dot optic. Got a 25mm lens, run on one battery stored up in here. It's got some great features which we're going to go over real quickly. Okay, this is a little closer look at the Trijicon MRO. So we're going to try to get some of the detailed features of this optic. It's very lightweight. As you can see, it's got this kind of rubberized coating here, and that I found that to be very rugged. I've used their ACOGs in the past, and they have that same kind of rugged coating. So that is definitely something that I'm a big fan of. I'm also a fan that this thing's made in the USA. You don't kind of find that stuff too often. But the first things first, let's go over that objective that we spoke about. It's got kind of a red tinge to it, as you can see as I rotate it, and that's just to gather as much light as possible, as well as kind of preserve some of the optical clarity, which is that's what you'll see. If you're a tactical user, they do sell a honeycomb that kind of screws in here, and that kills the reflection, so anybody looking from this end would not see a reflection from the sun. These are the, I believe that is the windage dials, so that's where you're going to be adjusting with a screwdriver or a a flathead of some sort, or you can use a rifle casing to do that. Elevation is going to be up top. The adjustments on here, you got 70 MOA of travel. You've also basically got one click is a half MOA. So one click is going to get you a ½ inch at 100 yards. You can do the math from there. This top section is the brightness setting, so I'll crank this sucker up and see if we can't see the dot. So you can see that's a pretty bright dot, and then you can go all the way down. If I can turn it here, use my man hands. That obviously gets further reduced. So this is probably a normal daylight setting, right, in this kind of brightly lit environment. But if you do happen to be using nods, you can turn it all the way down to N, and you've got two settings there, so you can pick the right setting for you. So turn it up so you can still see that. It's a little bit bigger than it appears in real life, just because the cameras have a hard time focusing on that kind of dot. But it's a great dot, and it's very clear when you actually use it. Let's talk about the mounts a little bit. This mount is the AC320 70, and that's going to be your full co-witness mount, and that's the one I really recommend. It is great. It puts it at the correct height, especially if you're using iron sights, and that's going to be probably what most users are going to want to use. It's very simple to mount. You see these kind of 4 screws here, and it comes with a supplied Allen key, and all you're going to do is just simply, insert there and then tighten them down. A word to the wise, it took me a little bit of time to figure out how to get these two, because it's kind of covered up from the base. So what you have to do is you basically you push this, and then you can slide the Allen key into this hole, and then that as well, and it allows you to tighten them down. Zeroing procedure was very quick for me. It only took about less than 5 minutes, honestly. It's very quick. Mounted it to the base, slapped this right on top of the rifle, and then some quick adjustments from a bench, and I was done. That was probably the easiest I'd ever moved an optic. Now this is the where you tighten it, and it's really easy to move, and if you decide you do want to cinch it down more, you want to use this 13mm wrench, and just real easily. You don't want to over tighten these things and strip a thread, but you can see that's how you can do that if you don't want to finger tighten it. Overall, great optic. You got great battery life, and more importantly, it's really rugged, and it's got a great field of view. But to me, it's the value for money that really makes me a big fan of this. You're looking at about a $450 package here, and you're getting one of the best red dots on the market. So if you're in the market for a red dot, I would really recommend you go with Trijicon. I've had great luck with them, used by a lot of really cool guys with beards and tattoos, so you know that's what you're looking for, but very high quality piece of equipment. And if you want to buy an Optic, just click on the links in the article and we'll take you to Amazon, where you will get the best price, and more so you'll be able to support the website, because we are, of course, an affiliate with Amazon. So you can support us and then also get a new piece of gear and use this awesome piece of equipment, the Trijicon MRO. Next feature I think is pretty cool is it does return to zero. So provided that you mount this sucker right back on the same rail and use about the same amount of force, whether it's your fingers or a wrench, you're going to get the same zero you had when you took it off, which is great. It allows you to really make some swaps if you need to, for shooting a different match, or maybe you've got a different mission that you need to accomplish. That's going to be great for that. The other thing about this full co-witness mount, it's great if you run iron sights. This sucker doesn't have any on here, but if you do run them, that puts the dot right above the front sight post, which is where most folks who do that like to see it. That's how it's set up on my duty rifle. The other thing, and I think the most important thing, is your field of view. With a full co-witness mount, if you go thumb over bore, you see a slight piece of your thumb in the bottom, which is fine, doesn't bother me. But if you use the lower mount, the AC32079, that is going to kind of cover up about the lower third of your field of view, which not really a big fan of. And if you mount a flashlight, a PEC or whatever, something like this, TLR2, if you were to mount that on the 12 o'clock portion, it would cover up at least half, if not more, of your field of view. So I really recommend, for this application, for most rifles and ARs, you're really going to want to use this full co-witness mount, and it's a great piece of equipment. Lightweight, works well on this rifle because this is a lightweight rifle. This whole package is coming in roughly around 6.5 pounds with a 16-inch barrel and an M-lock rail. So for this kind of a lightweight rifle, I think MRO makes a lot of sense. Of course, the most important things is how it aids your ability to actually use it and what you should use it for. Red dots are great at quick shooting, so whether that's up close in some kind of CQB type engagement, or it might be a 3-gun competition, red dots are going to be the quickest to get you on target. And this one's probably going to be quicker than most because you've got that extra 5 millimeters with the 25 millimeter field of view. Let me explain how that works. So you've got this 25 millimeters compared to 20 for most aim points. That's going to really help you when you're transitioning targets. You'll start to see the next target come into your field of view much earlier than if you have a smaller tube. Just imagine the difference between looking through like a paper towel tube and a straw. You can really have a little bit more situational awareness, which is good in a competition. It's also good on the battlefield. They did a good job by making this a little bit bigger, and I think this is about the right size. It's you know, obviously not the same shape as an EOTech, but it gives you the same kind of wide field of view, which I think is, you know, really a necessity for a red dot optic. The last thing we're going to talk about is value. I don't see a better value for money than this MRO. The main competitor for this from Aimpoint would be something like the T2. Which is a great optic. I've used Aimpoints in the past, and I'll say nothing bad against them, but they are pricey. If you get an Aimpoint T2 spec'd out with just a decent quality full co-witness mount like this one from Trijicon, you're looking at $800. Whether that's from Amazon, Optics Planet, you know, you name it, you're looking at pretty close to $800, if not more. This package, as it sits with the optic, with this, is going to be around $450, depending on where you get that from. And that's a great value. And from anybody who's ever carried a Trijicon product, carried it, had it with me in Afghanistan, had it with me through my whole time in the Marine Corps. In that case, it was an ACOG. You know, I've never had it fail. It was very rugged, and it was a great combat optic. And the folks that I had help me review this, that I gave it to try, had the same things to say. Very rugged, good, quick sight transitions, and quick to pick up your target. So if you're looking for an optic, or you're looking for anything for, probably 200 yards and in target engagements, you really should look at the MRO. It's probably the best value for money. It's almost half the price of the aim point, and I would argue it's got some key features, namely that ability to transition targets with the bigger front lens. I don't think you can beat it for the money. High quality, very rugged, and it's a great piece of equipment. So if you like this kind of review, stay tuned. There's going to be more of these. We're starting a YouTube channel here at Tier 3 Tactical. So any gear reviews, you're going to see videos and some of the other stuff as well. So stay tuned. We appreciate you if you like, subscribe, and share on social media. It's going to help us grow and just do more and more cool things.